So really briefly, I want to explain what dropshipping actually is, okay? Now, basically dropshipping, what you're doing using your Amazon store, like I'm gonna show you in this course, right? And your listings on Amazon, is you're simply just facilitating the sale from your supplier. This could be a wholesale supplier, this could be a retail site to the customer. Okay. The customer doesn't necessarily know that they're buying the product and receiving the product from the actual supplier that you've already set up, right? You're acting as the middleman, right? So how it works is the customer comes, they find the product on Amazon, and then obviously you're going to take the customer's information, the customer's payment, and then buy that on your supplier's website, and the supplier will then send that to the customer because you're going to input the customer's information onto your supplier's website. Okay, that's the simplest way that dropshipping works. Now, the way that you're going to do this on Amazon is very different than the way that you're going to do it on, for example, like Facebook Marketplace or on eBay, for example. On Facebook Marketplace, on eBay, on any other platform, you have the ability to go out and list hundreds or thousands of things and just hope that a few of them stick. And one of the benefits of dropshipping is you can list, hundreds or thousands of things because you don't necessarily have to front the money for that inventory ahead of time. You don't have to store that inventory, okay? So you can list a bunch of things, and then only when you make the sale, only when you get the profit, and you're guaranteed a profit, do you then have to go buy the actual products from your supplier, okay? And so this is very different on Amazon, though, because on those other sites, you can just list up a bunch of things and kind of take like the throw shit at a wall and see what sticks approach and just play the volume game with effort. On Amazon, it's very, very different because on a product detail page, let me show you for an example. So if we go to Amazon and we go to like an Amazon product detail page, pick a random one. Let's pick this one and we'll go to eBay and we'll pick a random product. We'll go to Facebook Marketplace. We'll pick a random product. And I'll just show you some examples of certain things, right? So like, let's pick this one right here. Obviously we picked this one right here. This might be a good example of one. Okay, it is. And let's pick Marketplace and I'll show you the examples here, okay? So on Marketplace, what you can do on Facebook, obviously, I'm showing you the differences so you understand it, is you can just list up a bunch of things, and then hopefully if somebody finds your product, they buy it from you. You're only competing against other listings, right? You're not necessarily competing for somebody or against other sellers on your listing, right? Same thing with eBay. Like once somebody lands on this listing, like, yeah, you might find other similar sponsored products down here if they're buying it, or if they're in search, like if they're searching for an item, like you might be competing against other people in search. But once somebody lands on your listing, you are the seller on your listing, right? So it's a very different approach than Amazon, for example, whereas you are competing on specific listings. These specific listings sell X amount per day, per month, and you can look at all that information. We're going to cover that in this course specifically on how you can judge those things. But so what you want to do here is you want to basically identify listings that are ranked well, that are selling well, that you can compete on, that you can obviously source profitably. So there's a lot more variables that come into play. It's a lot more upfront work to find good products, but it's a lot more scalable because once you find those products, they last longer, right? For example, on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace, like the lifespan of your products don't last nearly as long, right? And you can make a bunch of sales on that product, but typically products die off, listings die off. On Amazon, yes, they die off here and there, but the majority of the time, if you find a good listing and then you find another good listing and you build, it's like adding bricks to your store, and the more bricks that you add, the bigger your house and the bigger your building is going to get, because these are more long-term assets. Once you find a listing that's profitable, which takes a little bit of time, and I'm going to show you how to do that super easily in this course with software. But once you find a listing, you can hop on that listing, list your price so that you're only profitable. We'll set the minimum price so it doesn't ever go down, and we'll have software that controls your inventory, software that controls your pricing, and so you're only going to profit on that listing, and it's a more long-term approach, right? Because, for example, like you're competing on this listing. If this was the listing you're competing against, right now, US retail, this store has the buy box, right? And the buy box is this add to cart thing, the buy now button. So this store right now has the ability to make this sale because not many people come down to these other sellers down here, but there's a number of other sellers. There's 12 in total other sellers on this listing that are all competing for this buy now, add to cart button, right? And so that's a different kind of nuance. It's a different approach with Amazon. It's a very different kind of, way to drop ship. It takes a little bit more upfront work. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to master that super easily. But once you do the upfront work, once you find the products, they're going to last longer, and you can then add products to your store so that, for example, like if you had like 5 products on Facebook Marketplace, or you had like 30 products on Facebook Marketplace in your dropshipping, or same thing with eBay, right? You had 30 products on eBay, chances are you wouldn't be making very much money, or probably any sales, if that, right? Unless they're like great products, which that's not really the approach that I recommend, right? Whereas on Amazon, you can have 30 products and be making great money because those products are all selling pretty well, right? I'm going to show you how to judge all of these things in this course. Don't worry, I'm just giving you the general overview. So the key here is, just to explain what dropshipping is again, is you are listing a bunch of products. You're going out, doing your product research ahead of time, finding profitable products on suppliers, whether they're wholesale suppliers or retail suppliers. I'm going to show you software. I'm going to show you methods on how to find them in this course. And then once you find them, you're going to list those products on Amazon for profit. So when a customer comes to Amazon and buys them, you are then going to go buy them profitably and have the supplier send it to the customer, right? So customer comes to Amazon, buys your product. For example, let's say they buy your product for $100 on Amazon, but it only costs you $60 on your supplier to buy it. Well, then you're getting $100 from the customer when they buy it on Amazon. You're then purchasing it on the supplier's website for $60, and then obviously you have the $40 potential in profit minus the Amazon fees. And we're going to explain the Amazon fees, how you can calculate those, all sorts of stuff in this course. But I kind of just wanted to show you what dropshipping is, how it applies to you, and how it's different on Amazon.
Give me a